It is so good to see you today. And today I'm going to be helping you to use the multiplication chart in order to help you to multiply multi-digit numbers, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. I just want to let you know that if you are allowed to use a multiplication chart, you have such a wonderful tool in your hands because you can actually use it to help you with 8 different skills. So let's go ahead and get started. For example, I have this problem right here. And now the first thing that I like to do is I'm going to make a little section off like this because this tells me that I need to multiply, or this reminds me I need to multiply this number by this number by this number by this, and this number by this number once before I can move on. Okay. I'm multiplying it by 8 down here. I would put my finger on the 8th column right here. And it says 8 times 2 is right here. So it is 16. I only put down the 6, not 16. I put down the 6 and I bring the 1 over. Multiply 8 to the next number and it's the same thing. 8 times 2 is again 16. Plus the 1 right here is 17. So I only put down the 7 and bring the 1 over. Now I have 8 times 6. So here's 8 times 6 would give me 48. And I cannot forget about this 1 right here. So when I add it, it will give me 49. And because I have no other numbers here to multiply this 8 by anymore, I can go ahead and just put 49 down. And then the next part is very important. One way to help me to remember what to do next is I say to kill it, dig a hole to bury it, and get rid of all these evidence. There are many different ways that you can use in order to help you. That is just one way that's been helping me, so I'm using it. The reason why we have to put this 0 down here is because we're going to have to multiply these 3 digits up here by this 3. But this 3 is actually not just a 3. It has a value of 30 because when you read this number, it's actually 38. So this 3 is not 3, it's 30. So in order for us to illustrate that, we have to put that 0 down here as a placeholder. So now it's going to be this 3's turn. Okay, so 3 times 2. Again, I will put my finger on the 3 because it's the bottom number here that I usually put my fingers on. So 3 times 2 will give me 6. I just put it down. 3 times 2 again will give me another 6. 3 times 6, so here's my 3. 6 is down here. The answer is 18, and because I have no other number out here for me to multiply the 3 by, I can actually put down 18. Notice how I line up my rows and my columns very nicely because that is an important part when you are multiplying and dividing, so keep that in mind, okay? Some people need to use a grid paper and that's perfectly fine just to keep your numbers all aligned. So now we can add these partial products. 6 plus 0 is 6. 7 plus 6 is 13. Again, I have to break my number apart and I just write the 3 and bring the 1 over. 9 plus 1 is 10. Plus 6 is 16. Again, I have to break it up and only record down 6 and bring the 1 over. 4 plus 1 is 5. Plus 8 is 13. So I put the 3 down and carry the 1 over. Now I have 1 plus 1 is 2, and that is my answer, 23,636. So the same thing is true for when you are multiplying by decimal numbers. For example, if I started out with a problem like this, where there are some decimal numbers right here that I'm multiplying by, I go through the exact same 3 steps and procedures, and then at the very end, what I do is I count how many place value or how many digits are after the decimal in my problem. So I have 1 digit after the decimal here, and I have 2 digits after the decimal number here. So if I added these, I'd get 3. So now I'd go to the very end in the answer and I'm going to put back the 3 decimal places starting from here. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 places, and now my decimal is right there. Now I have 3. I just put back 3 decimal places. So when you're multiplying by decimals, like I said, you follow the exact same steps and procedures as if you're multiplying without decimals. And then at the very end, count how many digits are after the decimal and put those many digits back. I always like to write them to the side so I can compare or that I have a match. That tells me that I'm doing this correctly. And that is it, guys. I hope the video was helpful for you and that you are continuing to enjoy learning math. Have a good one.